Hello and welcome to Enhance Ephemeral Gaming, where today we waste absolutely no time and we jump right into 4 quick tips to help new and maybe even experienced players avoid the nightmares in Ravenswatch. So, tip number 1 is to not fight every enemy. It's a roguelike, and fighting is a core gameplay mechanic, so I understand the temptation to take the fight to every enemy you come across. But experience is capped once you hit level 5, so it will always be in your best interest to pick and choose your fights for efficiency. Tip number 2 is to always keep moving. Crystals are king after all. The starting gameplay loop in Ravenswatch should be focused around gathering crystals for the Sandman, but gathering crystals does not require you to stop and fight the surrounding mobs or enemies. I suggest that often you just break and then gather the crystals before continuing to dash away, exploring and further uncovering the map. The reason crystals are important are that crystals are enabling you to purchase upgrades for your skills and therefore often result in a higher jump in power than levels do themselves. Tip number 3 is an early game tip. Tip number 3 is to check the Sandman's items before leaving the starter area. Knowing what the Sandman has available for items can adjust or shift your priorities pretty significantly. For example, if the item duplication item is there, you may want to immediately portal back and copy the item that you have just gained, guaranteeing you a vital bonus twice. Tip number 4 is that events and marked locations are not all created equally. So I've gone ahead and I've made what I think is a good priority list for you. First are giant shards or crystals. These should be your number 1 priority, but I covered crystals earlier in the keep moving tip. So the only thing that I'm going to be adding here is that while you can instantly move on from these fights, these are usually above average when it comes to time spent versus experience gained. So in this particular scenario, I actually do suggest completing the fight. Priority number 2 are Raven statue for me. Information is king in this particular game, and it reveals the 3 closest points of interest that have not already been uncovered. Number 3 in the priority are healing shrines. These are usually surrounded by above average experience fights, and having a healing shrine saved and cleared close to the Sandman or other portals ensures that you enter the final nightmare phase at full health. Not to mention each shrine improving your overall total health regardless. Fourth in the priority is going to be the Wishing Well. It's an odd location, but it is a valuable one. It gives both a rare and an epic level item at a guaranteed rate for 100 and 150 crystals respectively. This is a huge boost to your character's overall strength, and while you don't get to pick the item like you would in the Sandman, I've rarely been dissatisfied with the results or felt that I could have spent my crystals in a better way. The fifth thing that I will say here is that you do have some codex events. If you are feeling powerful and you believe that you can indeed complete the codex events or the node events, this is worth doing. When I say if you feel that you can complete them and they are tending to grade themselves based on their color, so if they are green, they're a easier or a lower level, a yellow, a medium level, and a red, a difficult level. If you believe that you can clear these things, they do give you additional items and or reduce the total boss health by 20%. If you cannot clear these things or if they cost you too many lives to do so, it's actually been a better use of your time to complete any of the other tips that I've already mentioned. Alright, I don't have a tip number 5 here today, but I will give you a few bonus tips, and I'm going to go ahead and walk you through those now. So the first one is to watch the clock. You really want to make sure you're portaling back with around 2 minutes left. This allows you to spend your crystals if you have not done so already, because there is nothing worse than spending an entire game gathering only to lose all of that power and all of those upgrades at the end. The second one is to save a healing shrine close to the Sandman. This really ties into the last 2 minutes. If you've saved a healing shrine close to the Sandman, meaning you've cleared the mobs around it and it is ready for you to heal at, you always ensure that you go into the last boss at full health. So those are all of my quick tips for now. If you're interested in further tips or in-depth breakdowns, there is a lot we did not touch on here today. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments below. And before we go, if you like this and want to keep seeing more from me, please go ahead and consider dropping me a like or consider subscribing, as it really helps. As always, if you've made it this far, thanks for sticking with me and enjoy your time gaming.